So I hope everybody is full of energy because we have such great personalities, the experts that are going to join us today and share their knowledge, their insights, their experiences with us here today. And a special thanks to our esteemed partners, presenting partner, CloudThat, silver partner, Tesseract, Skills Caravan, exhibit partners, Tech Surge Learning, and NLink. It is my pleasure to welcome you all as the 11th Learning and Development Confex and Awards 2025, Delhi chapter, curated by Gain Skills Business Media. We are delighted to host this event in Hotel Holiday Inn and truly appreciate your presence here today. This conference serves as a pivotal platform for collaboration and knowledge sharing on the ever-evolving role of learning and development professionals. L&D leaders are no longer just facilitators. They are strategic partners driving organizational culture, talent development, and innovation. Today, we will hear from renowned thought leaders and L&D experts who will share invaluable insights and address the challenges shaping the future of workplace learning. Additionally, we will take this opportunity to celebrate the outstanding achievements in the field of learning and development. With that, today is my privilege to introduce our keynote speaker for the day. May I introduce her and we'll welcome her on the dais with energy. Okay, everyone? Miss Trupti Bais, Director, Learning and Development, JLL. Let me give a small brief about ma'am. Director and Head of Learning and Development for JLL's Work Dynamics West Asia. With 14 plus years of extensive experience, Ms. Trupti excels in driving impactful L&D initiatives aligned with business priorities. Her expertise includes L&D strategy, stakeholder management, and culture transformation. She is known for innovative solutions, having designed programs for various leadership levels and functional skills development. Recognized with a Digital Learning Leader Award in 2024, Ms. Trupti is thought leader who continues to contribute as a speaker and panelist at multiple industry forums. Her data-driven insights and forward-thinking strategies continue to shape the evolving landscape of corporate L&D. So everyone, let's give a huge round of applause. Ma'am, may we invite you on the dais with energy? Everyone, yes, please. And the topic is going to be building a skills-centric organization, leveraging L&D for future growth. With this, over to you, ma'am.
Okay. So what is it that we want to talk about? So these are the pointers that I received from everyone here, and this is what I'm going to address in the conversation today. So assessing skill gaps, building for the future, faster growth mindset, and engaging in continuous learning, while the script I had is how do you do lifelong learning. I think that does not matter anymore. Using emerging technologies and effective metrics and frameworks. Okay, so very quickly, some key actions on assessing skill gaps. I think a lot of this is not rocket science for most of us. We've all done this in some way or form. What I'm here to talk about is essentially what is it that we did differently. Yeah, I think the constant challenge that we face as L&D professionals is that if I'm in organization A today and I move to organization B, will what I do still be relevant here, right? 2 years ago, I made the decision to move from ITES as an industry to real estate. And this is something I've constantly been talking about, that the challenge we're trying to face or trying to solve is how do you connect with a workforce that works out of not your office. So it can be a retail space, it can be a client site, it can be a remote location somewhere in Coimbatore. And how do you reach them and how do you make learning relevant for them? So when we did skill gap analysis, we actually looked at, and this is all 100% internal activity, mind you. So what we did is we looked at the job profiles and job descriptions of 50,000 plus employees across the globe. We took it back to the global executive board to get their sign off on what do you think are the most relevant skills. Then at a regional level, we took it to the regional PXPs or HR partners to understand what are the top 8 skills that matter from a job skill ready perspective. So we are not talking technical skills, we are not talking only functional skills, we are talking actual skills that you will apply on the job, right? So top 8 skill identification, creation of an assessment that was rolled out for how many? I think we did it for 20 plus job profiles within the business. And when I say job profiles, it is differentiated 8 skills. So you can do the math. It's about 8 skills and 20 plus job profiles, right? And some of these skills are repetitive in nature. So what is it that we did when we were doing all of this? We created skills guides. So what is a skill guide? A skill guide says that if at an organization level, it will tell me which are the top skills that I need to focus on as development areas, right? So across all of those number of skills, we are doing this at each level in the organization. So I'm saying that at a manager level, what is it that I need to focus on? At a leader level, what is it that I need to focus on? And at an individual contributor level, what is it that I need to focus on as a development area? How does that translate to what I do at an individual level is where I have a conversation that matters as a manager. I go to the skills guide, I look at the definition, and there is a behavior identified. So if I am, say, an individual contributor and I've just started my career, and you're assessing me on a skill like analytical thinking, then at this point in time, all you need is for me to understand analytical thinking, isn't it? It's not like you will expect me to do data analysis. So then what are the 3E related learnings I can intervene into? When I say 3E, it is 70, 20, 10, where we say experience, exposure, and education. So I have actions outlined saying that if Trupti needs to improve, then first Trupti needs to work on a team meeting, team analysis. Second, experience. Trupti needs to shadow a manager in another business to learn the skill. So I'll probably do 1 full day shadowing, I will do 2 days shadowing, 3 days shadowing. And finally, education is the training that we are imparting. In that too, what is it that we've done? We've created a SharePoint, which is based on something called the VARC styles of learning. Anyone here who's familiar with VARC styles? I saw a couple of heads nod. Anyone here? VARC styles? 4 learning styles: visual, oral or auditory, reading, and kinesthetic, which is learning by doing. So there's a whole SharePoint that we've created through curated content on VARC style. So irrespective of the style that you use to learn, there is a learning tool that is available to you. That's all of the bit we've done on the skill gap analysis. What else? Yeah, workflows, planning, and pieces around this have been around restructuring. These pieces have been around role definitions, enhancements, and expansions. How does this tie into our talent management strategy is, no promotions happen unless it is a role expansion. So in real estate terms, for example, if I'm handling, hypothetically, if I'm handling something that is a portfolio that is 5,000 square feet, it has to go to 7,000, 8,000, 10,000, or it has to have added complexity. Otherwise, no promotion, right? What is this tied into? A very strong career pathing framework where I have complete clarity what is it that I'm going to do in the next 3 years. Where all can I go? And that means I'm also saying that if I'm a technical executive, it does not mean that I cannot become an account director. I can still become an account director if I fulfill these criteria. Then we talk about hiring and internal movements. I think I will not spend a lot of time around that. But very important, we've been doing a lot of focus on open to opportunities, which is one, the intent to create the opportunities for people, and two, encouraging managers to encourage them to do that. So there is actually an event called Career Day that we organize on a quarterly basis, where we get leaders to come in and talk about how they've changed portfolios, right? In fact, you may find it amazing, but we have a person who's a leader in one of our businesses that does project development, which has to do with construction management. design, and human experience, and this person is a CA, right? So it's about making that available to everybody. And if you see, JLL is very popular or famous for having people who've stayed with the organization for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And we have a lot of boomerangs, which is people who've come back to JLL from other organizations, right? So it's the culture. Emerging technology analysis, one thing that I wanted to highlight is, one, what are the available technologies? Two, can they plug and play with what I have existing? Because it will never be in the L&D, only the L&D team that will always decide whether you're going to change the technology, right? And you will never get the budget. Most often or not, you will not get the budget, right? So very important, understanding, is this something that I can plug and play? And when we look at emerging technology, I'm not talking AR, VR, I'm not talking Lego games, I'm not talking simulations, no. I'm talking something that can sit on your ERP and speak to your other systems to make it all available, right? Very important. And then finally, employee feedback and surveys. So I think people surveys that we all drive, a lot of engagement surveys that we're driving, they are very important factors, but how we build it into JLL is, there is constant communication about it. So if we have our CHRO doing a video, she will talk about, these are the 3 things that you said, these are the specific actions we've taken on the 3 things that you highlighted, and this is how it has impacted us. In fact, I'm very happy to share that we had a 3% rise in our respondent rates simply because we've been able to build that culture over time. So we're able to represent that. There is continuous communication to the leadership, to the team, saying, for example, that if you're telling me I need to do something on targeted interventions, right? Or somebody's told me one of the key points was upskilling. How is it that we're focusing on upskilling? That is role-based. So all of what you see on the skill gap analysis is something that's an outcome of the people survey, right? And here, one thing that I want to highlight in terms of when we say build for future is, when I'm looking at the skills assessment today and rolling out the learning plans, I'm not just telling them skills for today, I'm also telling them skills for the future. So what's going to happen to your skills in the next 5 years, and therefore when will I do the assessment with you again, right? Because that's very important to build as a culture. With that, I move on to my next piece, but any questions on this? Any inputs, questions? Okay, yes?
How do you address will issues when it comes to such a large organization? Oh, thank you so much. So, ma'am, my name is Geet Srivastav. I'm from Lots Wholesale. We are into retail space, retail wholesale space. And I want to understand from your vast experience that your workforce is scattered across the country in different places, right? So when it comes to skill issue, you have a plan. But how do you address a will issue? And it is there. We all know it's there. So how do you address it is what I would like to know.
Okay. I think the first thing I will say to that is, the will issue will not just be in retail space. It will not just be in real estate. How many of us are from ITES organizations? Do you still see a will issue? Yes, no, maybe? Yes? So one, it's not about the industry. Second, today when you pick up your phone and you try to access learning that your organization is providing to you, right? How many times out of 10 do you actually go through with the entire process? 2 or 3 times, right? So what does this narrow down to? Your ease of access, correct? If my learning content, whatever I am accessing, however I am accessing, and this is something I continue to say, I just spoke to someone about it, if it's taking me a minute and a half or 2 minutes to log in, I've lost my interest, right? And that too, sometimes the systems that you're using have a backup system happening on the weekend. They have a productive maintenance happening on the weekend when that is the peak time for people to access the learning. So then what are the alternates that you're able to make available? The will issue will always remain, let's face it, right? I think it remains for us as well. If it's not exciting for me, it's not happening. So how do I make it exciting? And then 2, how do I say this is related to the work that you do? If it's related to the work that I do, I can understand where I'm moving from where I am today. And 3, it is tied into the KRAs in terms of, yes, I have to learn this, otherwise I will not get promoted. Unless that is happening, it will not work. So there has to be something that we are offering as an end result. How many people agree? Okay. What do you think are the other things that we can add on to that? Thank you. Yes?
We motivate the employees and we make some, you can say, part of their KRA ki if you did that thing, otherwise you will not get promoted. But in today's scenario, there are the many employees who don't want to learn. If the company pushes them, so they are feeling like that ki it's an harassment.
For learning?
For learning.
Wow,
They are doing the same type of activities from many of years, and we want to promote them, we want to grow them in their careers in terms of money, in terms of compensation, in terms of various benefits, but people don't want to take it.
Okay.
They are just saying, sir, I am doing this activity for last 5 years, so why I do it? So in that case, how we can motivate? Because the company provides the infrastructure, company provides the learning tool, company provides the trainings, company provides the various conferences, etc. But still the people don't want to join. So in that case, any suggestions, any ideas?
I think there's someone at your table who wants to answer that.
Yes.
So I think it's very simple. I don't know how vast that you would have tried. You would have tried your best, but simple things works well. Of course, do the first step. All of us are trainers here. Do a re-TNA and figure it out that why they are not interested. Maybe the program that you are coming up is redundant, it is repetitive, and nothing excites. You like surfing reels? You do? How many seconds? How many seconds you surf? You don't like it and you move, you scroll up. No, I'm talking about reels, Instagram reels.
People start off because we are dealing with the agriculture industry and they are.
So even if that you are in agriculture, even if that you're in whatever, the attention span, Trupti, you would agree with us that it is very, very short. So why they are not interested is maybe that you are giving them bada padne ko, so it will not interest them. Then Trupti will have an answer to it.
Shall we move on? Yes? Okay. I think some part of that gets answered in what I'm trying to talk about here. One, put the learner in the driver's seat. So I'm not just saying that there is one way to learn, right? I will say that, okay, the topic is critical thinking, or since you're in agriculture, what are a few skills that you look at?
Basically, we are dealing in the agriculture industry.
Correct.
And the people are doing the same type of activity like loading, unloading, warehouse monitoring.
Great. That's what I needed to know. So maybe I'm doing inventory management, I'm doing loading, unloading. But I'm saying that in loading, unloading, this is not the only way for you to learn. Here are 4 options that you have to learn loading, unloading. You like video? Watch a video. You want to do an assessment, actual activity where people will assess you? Go ahead and do that. So am I fixating it on how you need to learn it? I'm just saying, okay, here are the options, you pick and choose what you want to do. The minute you do that, and that is one of the key motivating factors for a lot of people here, which has, I think it's not, yeah. So the key motivating factor is autonomy, motivation and purpose, right? If you're giving them autonomy of learning, saying these are the available options and pick and choose what you want to do, I am completely sure that people will pick up the learning. But if you tell me this is the only way for you to learn, this is the only 5 things that you can do, then maybe you will have my attention drift off. How many of us agree to this? Very few. Okay, what about the others? Yeah? Okay. All right. There's quite a lot of stuff to, I think, cover, but very less time. So I'm going to skim through this. One other thing that I want to talk about is very important. Communities of practice, not so much applicable, sir, for you, but for most organizations. How do you establish communities of practice? And then the follow-throughs on the communities of practice. The community of practice is nothing without the follow-through and the governance, right? So do you have debrief calls? Do you have somebody leading that Teams channel? Do you have somebody who's meeting on a frequent basis, and how is it that you're making it aspirational? So do you offer a certification in your communities of practice is a question. Can I take another 2 minutes? Mentoring and coaching, again, not external mentors and external coaches. How is it that you're institutionalizing in mentoring and coaching? We have 2 programs that we run. There is a global mentoring program where I can sign up as a mentor, right? And I can sign up as a mentor on specific topics, and then a mentee can look at my profile and pick me. And I can pick a person anywhere in the globe, all internal, right? Second is, are you able to establish and run mentoring programs where your L&D team is actually introducing and leadership is participating, right? For example, our CEO talks about it all the time. All the time. She talks about her mentors, she talks about how mentoring helped her get where she did, and she engages in the mentoring herself. So imagine a person who's just joined the workforce or has been working for just 5 years, gets a CEO as a mentor, right? You can imagine the amount of motivation and the change in behavior, right? So mentoring and coaching, very strong platforms for you to drive behaviors. Finally, R&R, I think in R&R I'll talk about how is it that you're giving platform to learners, but not to the people who are only tracking the learning hours, but people who are actually engaging in the right content, right? Because I can attend mandatory trainings and get my learning hours as well. Lastly, I think 3 key areas that I want to talk about here. Establishing Kirkpatrick model. So in every outcome, every learning that you're imparting, how is it that you're bringing outcomes? Kirkpatrick's is what you can bring to, I think, specialized programs only, because it's very effort intensive. But if you look at ROI analysis, it's something that you can do in terms of, will you come back to the program again and again? So what is your confidence percentage? We've actually tracked this saying, if I learned consultative selling, then did my deal get cracked because of this? And what percentage of confidence do I have? And then you tie it into an ROI and take a sign off from finance, yeah? If I talk about employee engagement and satisfaction, this is something we covered right at the beginning. Business performance metrics, one thing that I want to talk about is when you're launching a program or an initiative, just done. Talk about metrics like talent readiness, right? And if you're solving for an escalation, you can say reduction in number of escalations, yeah? Or you can look at resulting in delivery value improvement. So reduction in escalations, delivery value improvement, reduced attrition, promotions in the next 3 to 6 months, improved customer satisfaction, or NPS scores. Because if you're doing something for the leadership, it will definitely have an impact on the NPS. Reduction in escalations, and if you're driving culture change, did you have a reduction in the number of incidents? We've actually run, not in this organization, but in another organization, we actually run interventions where we were able to bring down the number of POSH incidents just through the program. And we went from, in 6 months, we went from 650 incidents to 2 incidents in 2 months. Right? So that's the kind of impact that you're able to drive only through the program, because half the people are not aware. So that's what I had to share. I'll make the deck available. Thank you so much. And any thoughts that you'd like to share?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Everyone, let's give a huge round of applause. And may I invite Mr. Trishul, Associate Vice President, Sales Cloud That. Sir, may I invite you on the dais, and please present a small token of appreciation